this to defend the IRS. This is momentous. I want to show you how nasty this is getting. I want to play for you some sound bites from yesterday. First up, the Speaker of the House, Mr. Newt, went to the National Press Club and made an address. Now, there's a bill, the Portman-Carey bill. Portman is a congressman. Carey is a Democrat. This is Senator Bob Carey from Nebraska. And they propose setting up, in essence, a private sector group of people to oversee the IRS. 9 private sector people plus the Treasury Secretary to oversee the IRS. The White House is dead set against this. Here is just a bit of Mr. Newt explaining this private sector commission.
Let's have a clear choice. Let's have a board of supervisors who are nonpartisan business figures who know how to run a business and have the IRS modernized by them and have the IRS budget and the IRS structure run by them.
Well, what could be better idea than that? Let some non-governmental people have a chance here at restructuring and running this place, or this entity, the IRS. Now, the White House, no, this is, they found themselves boxed in a corner here that I'm sure they really don't like being in, but they have no choice. As I predicted to you earlier this week, liberal Democrats love the IRS. They need the IRS. It is probably their favorite agency. It is in charge of the money from which springs all their power. And they want to be in control of it. As these curious audits of conservative individuals and organizations tends to indicate that they have the propensity to use the IRS in these harassing ways. So Newt's out there yesterday at the National Press Club says, come on, let's set this thing up. What could be better than this? Listen to McCurry's response. Mike McCurry, the White House press secretary.
I think the Speaker, last time I checked, is probably one institution in American political life less popular than the IRS. The more he wants to get up and talk, I guess the better off we are. So, I'd encourage him to continue to be out there and be the front man for the Republican Party on this issue.
Mike McCurry, this is it. Don't respond to the points he's making, but make a personal attack on him and say that, hey, he's the one guy in America less popular than the IRS. What about the idea, Mr. McCurry? You actually think that Newt, out there demanding IRS reform, is going to help you? And Newt responded this way.
With all due respect, Mr. President, your staff just doesn't seem to get it. For 5 years, the administration officials in charge of the IRS have fiddled while the agency has burned the hopes and dreams of thousands of innocent taxpayers.
Yeah, and the White House doesn't address one single point that is being made issue-wise on this. They simply attack or respond personally. And in the process, they find themselves defending the IRS. A huge opportunity here, my friends. Can our guys capitalize on it? Lima, Ohio. Lucy, hello. Glad you waited. Welcome to the EIB network.
Hi, Rush. Home Health Dittos. I can't believe I got through.
Thank you very much for the call.
Listen, the reason I called was because I haven't decided myself for certain whether I'd prefer a flat tax or a consumption tax, but I kind of lean toward a consumption tax, and the reason being, with the current tax system and with flat tax, they're taking your money right out of your check, so you never even see it. But with a consumption tax, you're taking that money home, and I think that, when you go to the store and you go to make your purchases, and a person can see exactly how much money they're taking away from you with the taxes. I think it'd be a lot harder for the Congress to try and raise that, because as soon as they raise it, it's immediately your purchase power is diminished.
Yeah, like the luxury tax on yachts and
right.
watches and boats and airplanes and those
exactly.
things that everybody buys. Yeah.
Exactly, and I just think it'd be a lot harder for them to do it that way. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever get it. The reason being is because you can't tell somebody, you can't tell when you go to the store exactly how much a person makes. So a person making $10,000 or $12,000 is still going to have to pay the same amount of money on a lot of purchases that other people making more money.
Yeah, this is. I've mused about this for the past couple of days. A lot of people have interpreted me as being negative about it, and I'm not. I'm trying to be realistic. There's some things, folks, that I have learned watching tax debates and tax policy all of my adult life. And the one thing that I have learned is the key that must be overcome is the simple math, the simple reality of the economic structure of this country. When you know that 88 to 90% of family income in this country is less than $50,000 a year, then you know that that is, in terms of a voting majority, a percentage of people who vote, the idea that they are somehow going to go along with the idea that benefits the 10% and arguably doesn't benefit them as much as that other 10% who make more than 50 grand are going to benefit, then this is the old class envy that's been exploited so well. All I'm trying to do is prepare you for these arguments, because they're going to come down the pike, and you're going to have an answer for it. And how about the fixed income crowd, folks? That's a good point too. I mean, here's the fixed income crowd. They don't have any choice, many of them. They've got to spend everything they get. Are we going to exempt them? Oh, so we're going to exempt some from the sales tax. And when you look at the sales tax, it wasn't difficult, was it, for Congress to put that 10% luxury tax on the sale of certain items? We all know what happened. The people who buy those items just stopped buying them from domestic manufacturers, bought them elsewhere, and the people who manufacture those luxury items were put out of work because there was an economic slowdown. So I just think these are the things that are going to have to be faced, and an argument is going to have to be developed to overcome it. You can sit there and say, well, look, what somebody else pays in taxes is none of your business. It shouldn't matter to you at all. The only thing that should matter to you is what you're paying. Oh, it isn't fair if I'm paying more than that. But you're not. It's totally up to you what you pay based on what you spend. I have to spend everything I earn, and then some. They don't. They're paying less. It isn't fair. It isn't fair. And how do you get, when that becomes the definition of fairness? And you know it is. On the other side of this, it came up yesterday that well, if you have a sales tax and we have a recession and people spend less because they have less, fewer people working, layoffs, downsizings, things like that, what's to stop the feds from an immediate imposition of an emergency income tax to cover the shortfall? That, of course, that emergency imposition never ends, like bridge tolls. Well, the way around that is to end the 16th Amendment, abolish the 16th Amendment, which legalizes the income tax. And then they couldn't do it. And that ought to be part of the program, too, for you sales tax crowd.
I'm Bob Harris with SmartBeat. To tell you that SmartBeat fat-free cheese slices are now certified by the American Heart Association. SmartBeat, the only cheese slices with no fat, no cholesterol, and no lactose. For a great cheddar taste and a good source of protein and calcium, with absolutely no fat, cholesterol, or lactose, low in calories and sodium, look for SmartBeat, displaying the American Heart Association heart check mark on the package. Don't just say cheese, say SmartBeat.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
It's time for a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR. A prisoner has escaped from the Wayne County Jail and is on the loose at this hour. Wayne County Sheriff Kerry Winder says the search is on for 43-year-old Laverne Williams, a black male wanted on illegal drug charges. Williams, a jail trustee for over a year, was on work detail doing laundry, climbed a wall topped with razor wire, and got away. According to Winders, despite the fact the razor wire did its job, it did not stop Williams. Blood was found on the wire following the escape. Williams is almost 6 feet tall with dark complexion and was last seen wearing a light blue jail uniform. Authorities say they believe Williams may be in the southern part of the county. If you know his whereabouts, call the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. They're offering a $300 reward. Prosecutors continue to build their case against a former Excel Lindy employee and several of her relatives for allegedly embezzling an estimated $2 million from the company. According to the suit filed in the Wayne County Clerk of Court's office, Terry Hughes Hunter and her accused relatives used the money to buy lots, homes, vehicles, jewelry, and other items after keeping it in 12 financial institutions. Those institutions are also being sued. The defendants are being accused of setting up a bogus manufacturing company that received about 60 checks as payment for goods that were never delivered. There's a new Teacher of the Year in Wayne County. North Drive Elementary first grade teacher Donna Kime was selected from a field of 26 candidates to receive the award. Kime, a 16-year teaching veteran, says she feels good teachers believe that children learn only if they are encouraged to express, expand, and explore daily in the classroom, allowing their positive self-esteem to develop. Kime will represent Wayne County in Regional Teacher of the Year competition next May. And buyers are seeing better quality tobacco on warehouse sales floors in Goldsboro. According to Sales Supervisor Bill Parker, higher prices are the result. Yesterday, the tobacco market closed with a daily average of $182.78 per 100 pounds. Stabilization purchased 4% of the offerings of 427,541 pounds. Revenue on the market yesterday, just over $750,000. That's a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR.
Well, it looks like we'll continue to see sunshine and clouds mixed across the area this afternoon as an upper-level disturbance passes overhead. That will give us a very slight chance of a sprinkle or light shower, mainly north and east of about the Rocky Mount Wilson area. We'll look for highs today around 75 to 80 degrees. Then tonight, mostly clear. We'll have a diminishing breeze overnight, lows in the mid to upper 40s. Then on Thursday, sunny skies on tap. Should be pleasantly cool tomorrow. Highs reaching about 66 to 71. I'm Mike Moss at the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Telephone number is 1-800-282-2882. Back to the phones we go. This is a cell call from Raleigh, North Carolina. Mike, glad you waited, and welcome to our program.
Well, free market dittos from Raleigh, North Carolina, Rush.
Thank you very much.
It seems the debate today is over whether we should have a consumption tax or a flat tax. I myself favor a consumption tax, and the reason being is if we go to a consumption tax, then we can take away the impetus for the 16th Amendment. The minute we completely get rid of the 16th Amendment, then we can start getting a check on the reign of government power. The 16th Amendment, which was ratified in 1913, has resulted in an exponential expansion of the government and its power. And until we repeal that, we're not going to get rid of the problems of abuse that we've seen in the IRS hearings in the last 2 to 3 weeks, the campaign finance abuses, and all that is basically a result of our tax code. So if we want to get rid of these abuses, if we want true reform, we need to get rid of the 16th Amendment and collect our taxes in a more reasonable, blind fashion than what we do right now.
Well, I would say this to you. This may hearten your outlook. Mr. Archer, Bill Archer, who's the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, is really radical about this. He favors, as I'm sure many of you know, a national sales tax or a consumption tax. And as an insurance policy against the scenario that I have alluded to the past couple of days, which add an emergency income tax surcharge here to cover shortfalls due to economic downturns, he wants to get rid of the 16th Amendment. And he's the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, so he's all for that. I just don't. I don't want to. I'm not comfortable here sitting or appearing to throw cold water on things, and I got into trouble in this last Friday when I started my musings on how tough all this is actually going to be. A number of people thought that I was against these changes because they were going to be so difficult. But as I mentioned yesterday, we got one of two ways you can go about this. I remember I called your attention yesterday to the story of the woman who just was beside herself when the interest on credit card expenses as a deduction was removed. She was beside herself. The worst tax policy change had ever been made. Well, you go to any of this flat tax or consumption tax, buy mortgage interest deduction. That's a huge one. You're going to have a whole lobby of people out there opposing both these just on the basis of that. And you start talking about abolishing the abolishing the 16th Amendment, no income tax. I just ask you to go back and look at what happened to your friends, the conservative Republicans, after 1994, when